When we're out on the river, it's important that we work together as a team. I want to make sure that I'm covering the back of other people in my group. I also want to make sure that they're covering my back. It's important for us when we head to the river that we have some type of river running strategy. There are a bunch of things that we'll want to do both on the water and off the water before we actually get on the river. The first thing, we need to ensure that we bring a certain amount of gear along with us. Some of that gear would include a first aid kit, some rescue equipment including a high quality throw bag, a spare paddle or breakdown paddle of some sort in the event that we lose or break a paddle along the route, some food and water appropriate for the duration of the trip, and a medical emergency kit with both first aid supplies and some survival supplies in the event that we get stuck out on the river overnight. Next, we want to make sure that we have a good assessment of both our own skills as well as the skills of the other group members in our party. When we're leading a group down the river and we're unfamiliar with the other paddlers in our group, it's very important that we're able to make a quick assessment of their skills. Some of the ways we might be able to do that once we're on the water is to see how well someone rolls. Measure how many questions they're asking about the run. Do they seem confident or do they seem a little bit hesitant and unfamiliar? After we've made an assessment of each paddler's skills, it's important that we monitor each paddler to see whether they're possibly getting cold, possibly getting tired, or possibly getting hungry. Any of those factors could affect someone's paddling ability and potentially a hazard when they end up getting to the next set of rapids. It's important that we keep anyone who's new to paddling or weaker in our group, that we keep them well contained as far as our security on the river goes. The way that we would try to contain a group is to put an experienced paddler go first, another experienced paddler go second, and preferably catch an eddy on the opposite side of the river. Now we have security both downstream as well as on river left and river right. As well, we'll put another experienced paddler in the back acting as a sweep. And when we have these three more experienced paddlers corralling and surrounding our less experienced paddlers, we now have our group very well contained. We have people downstream, we have people upstream, we have people river left and river right. That's the type of containment that we want to have. So there's a bunch of things that we need to know before we actually even get on the river. We should know what the degree of difficulty of the section of river that we're running is, especially at the particular water level of the day. We can find this difficulty of the section of river that we're running is, especially at the particular water level of the day. We can find this when I consider the idea of where are we going to evacuate someone if we need to get off the river before we've actually finished. Do we have a way to get off of the river, and do we have a way to communicate with people in the event that we need help to come in from the outside? So know before you go is a real key, and if we get to a section on the river that we're unfamiliar with, it's a good idea to get out and scout. Sometimes while we're out on the river, we'll use a variety of signals. Some of those will be audible signals that we might use, for example, using whistles, and others will be visual signals. We have some specific signals like, are you okay? Do you need first aid? Eddy out on the left, eddy out on the right, go, stop. We also have a general rule that if we're pointing one way or another, that we're always pointing in the positive. So we never point at any particular hazard or danger. We always point where we want our partners and friends to go. So again, we want to make sure when we're out on the river that somebody's got your back. We want to make sure that we're going to bring the right equipment, we make the proper assessments, that we're able to contain people while we're on the river within our group, and that we know in advance a little bit about some of the challenges that are in front of us.